All right, hi everybody. My name is Arav Parikh, and I'm absolutely terrified of public speaking.
Shout in the audience louder. It's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So I'm terrified of public speaking, and naturally I got selected to go first. So I'm so terrified of public speaking that the first time I gave a speech in college, I got up to the podium and I froze for like 5 seconds. Like nothing to say, just embarrassed. I'm also a terrible liar. So you know that everything I'm going to tell you today is going to be the absolute truth. I'm also significantly lacking in my fine motor skills. So like I can't hold a pencil properly. Like I hold it like this. It's really weird. And I can't tie my own shoes sometimes. Thank you. Yeah, I can't tie my own shoes sometimes. And my teachers and parents have been on my case for years, and I just think I'm beyond their help. So the reason I started out my presentation like that, as opposed to introducing my topic, is because it's a little more memorable than if I just said, hi, my name is Arav, and I'm a sophomore studying computer science. It's also pretty uncomfortable for me to do, which is exactly why I'm here today. I'm here to tell you all about the art of leaving your comfort zone and why embracing the uncomfortable is absolutely essential to your own personal development. Before we take a closer look at what this means, let's take a step back and understand what it even means to leave our comfort zone. So there are 3 zones I want to focus on here today, the first of which is our comfort zone. I like to think this is sort of our safe space. It's where we're not doing anything new or exciting. It's kind of routine, and as a result, we spend a lot of time here. If we decide to spice up our routine a bit, though, we can hit our learning or growth zone. And that's really where we want to be, because it's where we're pushing our limits and expanding our horizons, so as to foster some sort of growth within ourselves. If we push too far, though, then we could hit our panic zone, which is where the stress just takes away any learning that we could gain. So the goal is to hit that sweet spot. In order to help you all do that, I've actually come up with a bit of a questionnaire to guide you through the process. So by a show of hands, how many of you guys would be comfortable channeling your inner child and riding around in a shopping cart? Wow, that's a lot more than I thought. Yeah, all right. So how about being the first one on the dance floor? Okay. Calling up an ex? Wow. No one. Oh, we got one? We got one? All right. Telling your mom her cooking sucks. Fair enough, fair enough. All right, now reeling it back in for the last one. How about turning to a stranger and asking them about their day? This one may not sound like it's all that comfortable, but it's not something we all do very often, so I think there's definitely something to be said about that. So I know that wasn't extensive in the slightest, but hopefully I gave you an idea of where your comfort zone lies. That's really my first takeaway for today. Before you can do anything, you need to identify where your comfort zone lies and then start small. So for me, that meant identifying that I have a fear of public speaking and then starting small by embarrassing myself a little bit with my introduction. And as a result, I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone. I didn't jump, and that's how I'm building momentum. When you have that momentum, the next step is to find a mental barrier and push through. And when I say mental barrier, I really mean a fear. And in my life, there's been no bigger fear than BLT. And no, don't worry, I'm not scared of a sandwich. I'm talking about basic leadership training. BLT was my high school ROTC unit's rite of passage for all new cadets. And what it was pretty much a 5-day boot camp where we were just thrown into the middle of the woods and expected to survive. So that meant waking up at 4 a.m., doing PT, doing drill, running obstacle courses, and all the while, we were getting yelled at by these huge drill instructors who wanted nothing more than to make our lives as miserable as possible. So as a short, 8th grader, I did not want to do this for my life. I tried dropping out of ROTC on a number of occasions, but every time I stuck with it. So that meant that when BLT rolled around the fall of my freshman year, I was forced to go. And guess what? I survived. Yes, it was just as difficult as advertised, and yes, I did quite literally fall flat on my face on the first day when I was trying to climb a rope ladder. But you know what? I just dusted myself off, got back up, and I kept on going. And I never stopped. Looking back at it, I honestly think that just getting over that initial hump of BLT and just conquering that fear was essential to my personal development, because I gained a sense of confidence and a sense of understanding of myself that I still carry with me today. All right, so maybe.
I need to know what BLT is. You went by the slide.
All right, so maybe facing your fear isn't necessarily your way out of your comfort zone. That's perfectly all right, because you can also try something new. And unfortunately, it isn't as easy as that, because you need to try something new repeatedly, to the point where you're fostering this attitude of risk-taking and just seizing every opportunity that comes your way. And that's pretty much summed up my time in college. See, when I came to UConn, I thought I was just going to focus on computer science, just grind out my 4 years, and just go get my degree and get a job in Silicon Valley. Freshman year, though, I took an entrepreneurship class just on a whim. Like, there was no reason to it, and it had nothing to do with my career path. As I found out, though, it was a lot of fun, and it opened up so many things for my career path. And actually, the connections I made in class are what led me to Jake and his co-founder, Masil's company, Patent Plus, and that's where I've had my first internship and job. And it's been a great experience. I've been able to develop my technical skills, but not only that, but my entrepreneurial ambition and my soft skills. It's that pursuit that led me to the Werth Institute, and that's why I'm standing here today speaking for all of you. So really, what started out as a random class truly blossomed in this whole journey of personal development. Before I wrap up, though, I want to say that, yes, I've been talking about a lot about the successes of leaving your comfort zone, but there's also going to be failures. You will all have your first speech in college, your rope ladder and ROTC kind of moment, but don't get discouraged by it. Yes, I know failure will only make things more uncomfortable, but I think that should just motivate you to get through it even more. I know it may sound counterintuitive, but I think that failure really is the best teacher in this scenario, and I think the startup world would have to agree with me on that. So just to recap my takeaways real quick. Before you do anything, you want to start out by identifying your comfort zone and starting small. Then face a fear and push through it. If that's not really your thing, though, maybe foster a willingness to put yourself out there. And lastly, don't forget to embrace the failures as much as you embrace the successes. But what I think the true art of leaving your comfort zone is understanding that it's not simply a means to an end. Yes, I may have framed it as a sort of way to be the best version of yourself, but I think it's just so much more than that. It's an adventure in and of itself, and I wouldn't be here today telling you my story if I hadn't gone on this adventure. So I definitely think there's a lot to be said about just how memorable it can be. So please, take it from someone who can't lie. Life gets a lot more fun when you learn to enjoy leaving your comfort zone. Thank you all so much.